Welcome everyone to another week of Stack Your Live. As always, I'm Matt from the Matt Clausen YouTube channel, joined by RJ. RJ, how are you doing this week?
We're doing Stack Your Live tonight?
Yeah, I
We're
know.
doubling up?
Yes, we are. No, it's Stack Your Points. Leave me alone. It's been a day.
It's okay. It was too perfect for me not to pick that one out.
Fair enough. All right. We're joined by Lonnie from the Call Me Lonnie YouTube channel. And Lonnie still continuing to push the joys of travel portals.
Yeah, travel portals are great. Just had a very expensive weekend trip that only cost me 79 cents out of pocket. Points to that, pun intended.
Excellent. And we're joined by Craig. Craig, how are you doing this week?
I am doing all right. It is 22 degrees outside and 8 inches of snow on the ground, which means I can smell of fine leather wares and rich mahogany. So it's my favorite time of the year.
Okay, Ron.
We're getting like anywhere between 6 and 12 inches of snow tomorrow. So I am hunkering down.
It's been snowing.
I don't feel bad for any of y'all.
I don't pay state income tax.
I'm going to a place that is currently 82 degrees for a couple of days, so I'll be fine.
The income tax triggered me a little bit.
I'm not going to lie. You got me with the weather, and I was like, oh, damn, that hurt. It cut me deep.
I feel like Charlie Brown. I got a rock.
I got a Charlie Brown shirt.
Nice.
Tangent number 1.
Already off the rails. And this time, I didn't do it, guys.
I believe I'm the king
It's
of tangents.
messed
in
up
this
to throw us off the rails.
podcast.
All right. No, there we go. All right. As we are wont to do, we will start this week off with our question. We'll move over to our news and roundup, and not a ton of news across the board because, well, last week was a holiday here in the United States. And so nobody likes to put out news during holiday week. And this week is just all about the sales. So we're going to skip over the sales, but we do have one quick update. Craig, what's going on with your passport?
Yeah. Well, actually, and Matt,
Digital
I'm
ID.
surprised you didn't take a shot at City because this would have been a wonderful time for them to drop the new World Legend card in some fashion. Neither here nor there. I will tell you, the Apple Passport in your mobile wallet works very well. Had no problems in O'Hare ORD with a very busy TSA pre-check line. No issues with Indianapolis. Ran into some less than knowledgeable TSA agents in Memphis. And if you're wondering where the heck did you go, I went to visit my family in Chicago, went to visit my dad in Memphis, and then we flew back to Indianapolis. But really well. Even within Memphis, I still have my physical ID, showed them that. And then a supervisor came over and said, no, this is how this works now. And they go, oh, okay, that's awesome. But yeah, I tried to show them my passport and they were like, yeah, absolutely not. I'm like, I get that. But you shouldn't have any problems. Most of the TSA agents should be knowledgeable about that change. I say should be, just in case they are new or if perhaps they weren't there when the briefing came out. But very nice. I am happy with it. I would love to see this feature come to Android. I'm slowly but surely being won over by my new work Pixel. And so I would like to have that as an option if I am traveling with only a Pixel.
That's fair. My only concern with being in Memphis is that for whatever reason you end up 10 feet off the ground.
Your main concern with being in Memphis is that you are in Memphis.
It's fair. I was just making some obscure references.
No, I get you, but also Memphis. And I can say that lived in Memphis, family from Memphis. I can talk crap about Memphis. But I love you, Memphis. Great barbecue. Don't tell Tariq.
It's fair. Let's see, Lonnie, have you been traveling on the digital ID yet?
Haven't used it yet.
Same, but
so even like I traveled over this weekend and one have TSA, the photo ID thing. So don't need it. Just walk up and I know RJ biometrics. Just walk up and scan my face. And I had clear on the way back. So walked up and scanned my face. So didn't need it. But I do have another international trip coming up later this month. So hopefully I can use at least my digital passport, if not my digital ID as well. And, well, no, especially coming back, that won't work because global entry, walk up and scan my face. So
It's fair. RJ, you're going to set up your Apple Passport this week?
I am, if I remember to, I'm setting it up. And then we'll see if I use it when I get on a plane on Friday.
There you go. I will try to use it the next time I take a plane. I don't know when I'm taking a plane next because shifting priorities. Family life is hard. Split family life is harder. Just going to put that out there. All right. Let's move over to our topics. And Lonnie, well, let's start with your topic.
Oh, snap. I get to go first tonight. My topic. It's going to be a slightly unique one, but the Apple Card. Goldman Sachs is officially on their way out. Sounds like Chase is going to be coming in. And I want to know your thoughts and opinions of why, because Goldman Sachs released that they lost roughly around $6 billion just taking on the Apple Card. Where did that go wrong? I have my opinions, and I'm going to start first. But is it too niche? Of course, they allowed access to people with lower credit scores, which means you're not as financially responsible, which means you probably put that money on there and didn't pay it back, or didn't pay it back in time. Also, how you use it. You can buy something directly from Apple and not pay interest for a couple of months. Interest is the business of credit cards. So if you're not paying interest, are you getting that money back? Especially if you bought into the entire Apple ecosystem, 0% interest, and don't default on your payment, you're definitely losing money there. Or no good bonuses. Now, I recently just got my Apple Card, and I probably won't use it for anything other than like a couple of my Apple subscriptions, like my Apple Care or whatnot. But yeah, not great bonus categories. And the best one is buy from Apple, which is not the problem, but also the solution at the same time. They just think anything with an Apple logo sells, and that's why they bought into it and realized that this ain't it. And to the Apple advocate expertise herself, I'm going to start with RJ on this one.
So I used only an Apple Card for 3 years. That was it. That was the only credit card I had or used. So I feel very qualified to talk about this topic. I think there's a couple of things. I think first off, like Goldman gave Apple too much in terms of Apple wanted a custom app, which Apple built, but like Goldman didn't get access to the back end data the way that other issuers would have, right? Like Apple kept a lot of that proprietary data. Apple tells you when you go to pay, if you're not paying the total balance, like what interest amount you're paying, like in a dollar amount, not just a percentage that you can not think about, right? They asked for different customer service. There are more ways for you to get customer service from Apple than any issuer otherwise that I have, right? It's just a different way about it. You get a different customer service experience with the Apple Card versus just Goldman Sachs. So I think all of that had cost to it, right? I don't think the lower credit score was a problem because I think those are the only people they're getting interest from. So I think in that respect, they were okay with the lower credit score because they need some amount of interest. But I think a lot of people who got the Apple Card don't pay interest because Apple makes it abundantly clear how much interest you're paying if you're not paying this card off. So I think it actually ends up teaching people higher financial literacy with this specific card. I don't think it works across cards, but I think when you go into the Apple app, it is so clear that it had the reaction of teaching people things that Goldman didn't necessarily want them taught. I do think a lot of people just use it for Apple things. I use it often when I buy my new phone. Occasionally when I buy a laptop. The last 2 laptops I bought haven't been on my Apple card. They've been on different Amex cards. So I think that a lot of people use it for that. A lot of people who like Apple stuff are in a different, and I don't mean like everybody, but if you have a bunch of Apple products, chances are you're in a different place just from their demographics that they do release than if you have one piece of Apple gear. So if you're buying a new phone every year, that tells you something about the economic status of that person. It can tell you a lot of things in isolation, but across it. And Apple has that data, right? So Apple knows, oh, they're buying a phone every year, they're buying a computer every year or two, like they're fine. I don't care what their credit score is, they're fine. And oh, they're not paying any interest on all of this Apple gear. So I think Goldman, most of the quote loss that Goldman had isn't an actual loss in terms of like money was taken out of their account. That money just never went into their account because people weren't paying interest to the bank the way they projected. And I think we have to remember that is what we're talking about when we're saying that Goldman lost $6 billion. Goldman didn't have $6 million that they had to pay somebody else. Goldman just didn't get $6 billion. And I think that is different. When you think about it that way, you can understand why Chase, who is one of the largest banks in the world, who issues more credit cards than I believe any other bank, who has the private client stuff and the institutional stuff and all of that, $6 billion is a lot of money, but if they structure it in the way that they might structure it, it's not going to be $6 billion. Because now they have all of the data on what Goldman did wrong. They understand, and Apple might understand how things didn't go the way they expected them to go. I don't think they're going to change the app because I think Apple likes that level of control, but I do think there'll be different integration in the Chase app. And if you have other Chase cards, you might not go to the Apple app, you might go to the Chase app, right? So you might not see that interest in the same way. So I do think there's little things that might happen that are different. I also think that Chase needs a win right now, and Apple is an easy win. Like, regardless of how you feel about Apple, the company, Apple is something that ingratiates people. I am talking to you on an iPhone with a MacBook Pro. I have an Apple TV over there. I've got all of this Apple stuff around me. If I see Apple in a headline, I'm going to read at least that headline, right? Like Chase getting an Apple card is cool. I'm down for this, right? Even though Chase is not my primary ecosystem, it's good. People get very used to just using Apple Card with Apple Pay. Like it becomes this thing where it's just in the culture. So I do think that Chase is going second. They're taking the second bite of the apple, if you will. And I think that allows them to change some things that isn't going to tick off Apple, but can make this a better deal for them. Also, if they can do things like Apple One, if they can do different things like that, if you can turn your Apple cash back into UR points, if you have a Sapphire, something like that, it may be an easy win for them that allows them to get some of the goodwill of people back from the CSR mess. So they might be willing to start off with a really strong card for the Apple Card simply because they can lose a little bit of money there, get enough goodwill that when they tweak things in the future, it doesn't tick people off enough and they've already made the money or already gotten the goodwill. So I think there's a lot going on here. I'm really interested to see how this shakes out and how exactly it works.
Thank you, RJ. You actually, not actually, sorry, didn't mean to throw that in there, but you made some really great points. Sorry about that. That actually didn't mean to come out.
It's
Craig.
okay.
No, so RJ hit most of my points. I'm going to take it from a different stance too, where I think, and so I have the Apple Card. I So to RJ's point, I'm also an Apple sheep. I have the watch, I've got the phone, laptop, iPad sitting next to me. But I'm going to say two things. One, I think buying Apple products every year is far more of a status symbol, especially for individuals that are not the most financially responsible. Mine, and I'm just saying from people that are my nieces and nephews' age, so it's 18 to 22 to a little bit older than I am, early 40s. So those late Gen Z, early millennials, there is a lot of people that will only have an iPhone and will make fun of you if you have a green bubble, right? And will buy a new phone every single year. No matter what it is, they are buying the pro version. And I love them dearly, but like when I buy a phone or I buy something, I plan to have that bare minimum 3 years, right? If you can't give me 3 years of peak performance out of whatever I get, I don't need to continue to buy things from you. But where I think Goldman Sachs really lost out here, and to RJ's point, it's not necessarily the interest. Interest is a huge portion of any credit card business, but it's the data. Apple is notoriously user privacy friendly. And fun fact, banks are some of the biggest data brokers in the world. Chase, I know we laugh about, oh, you got my face now, but I got your face and I know that you wear glasses. Here are some ads for glasses that I can sell you because I can send you to a data broker, to someone that says, hey, you need to target people that wear glasses, that spend X amount of money and do X, Y, Z, Z, and B, right? And I think
Warby
that's where
Parker.
Goldman Sachs, what'd you say?
Warby Parker.
There we go.
We've all
I
we won't buy.
love
We
their
won't buy.
frames.
I hate their frank. So we all get the ads from them.
Yeah. I've never actually bought a pair of glasses from them because I use that good old employer insurance. And so I get my frames for free, baby. Well, $7 a month, but neither here nor there. I think that's where they had the real miss because Apple is so adamant about we are not giving away people's data, right? And so the combination of people not paying a bill, and let's be realistic, it's a free loan. Like I don't buy anything that I don't have the cash for on my credit cards because, and I've mentioned this before, there's a reason Craig can't get a Discover card. College was fun and filled with poor decisions. I'm at the point now, and I realize that's not a case that everybody can do. And so this isn't me poo pooing anything, but not only are you losing money because you can't sell my information, you're not getting interest. And I'm putting the money that I was going to use to pay for this thing in the Apple savings account. And so I'm going to get the interest off of you, right? Like you are now, I'm the captain now. You give me the interest. And so I think that there are just multitude of things there. I'd be really interested to see if Chase does keep the, and granted, still speculation because we haven't confirmed that they're going to Chase, but it is highly likely based on the Apple credits and everything else that's going on, the UR points being used for Apple products. There's just so much integration there. But I'd be surprised if Chase keeps that savings account because Chase does not have a high yield savings account, right? Nor do they probably feel like they need one. And if they do, knowing Chase, they'll probably say, well, we need a few business days to give you your money because we're busy investing it in emerging markets to, never mind, I was going to make a joke there. But yeah, so I'm just really interested to see. And Apple can bully Goldman Sachs. Love Goldman Sachs. I have like friends that work at Goldman Sachs. It's a cool place to be at, but they are not the same size of bank that Chase is. Chase does not just do private equity and emerging markets. Chase is the market. Chase has a capital and GDP that is bigger than most countries, right? And so Apple, you are massive, truly massive, but it's the same size difference of Apple to Samsung. Samsung is one of the biggest players in electronics, semiconductors, real estate, any market that you could think of, Samsung is in. That is Chase. You are not going to bully Chase. They might say, hey, yeah, here's a concession. We'll give you your own customer service line, but also don't expect us to pay 30,000 hours of overtime over the next 12 months. And if we are, you're going to chip in on that because that's the other thing that people aren't realizing. Apple mandated that every single card have the same due date. That is a customer service nightmare. If you have ever worked at a call center or if you've ever had to manage customer service folks, could you imagine if every single problem that you ever had a month, instead of being spread out, was just on that one particular day? That sounds absolutely miserable, and don't know why they mandated that. And so think about how many extra hours of overtime they needed for those 3 days just to get through every single issue that they had with a statement balance. So there's the personnel. There's just so many other factors as to why they were losing money. And Chase, as RJ and you pointed out, they've seen it all now. So they don't have to make the same mistakes. They probably will, but they don't have to. Yeah, just a plethora of reasons. And I am actually really excited. I would hope, Chase, please let it be a You Are Earning card. I would love 2x mobile wallet. That's it for me.
Thank you, Craig. Matt, let's round off with you.
Yep. First question, and I really don't mean this to sound like an asshole. Are we even sure it's going to get done at this point? Like, it's been rumored in the rumor now for getting close to a year that it was going to be Chase. And we really haven't seen anything in at least 6 to 9 months. At least. So right now I'm openly going to question whether or not that this is going to get done with Chase. Why it failed for Goldman Sachs, RJ and Craig have both highlighted a lot of why it didn't work for Goldman Sachs. The other big reason why Goldman Sachs was pushing into customer credit in trying to create a new business out of nothing, and they didn't understand the business that they were getting into. Goldman Sachs issued 2 credit cards. There was the GM card and there was the Apple card. And Goldman Sachs, in desperation to get customer lending off the ground, gave Apple everything Apple wanted. And Apple didn't have to go to, when making this pitch for this card, and Apple, I'm sure, presented to American Express, presented to Chase, presented to Wells Fargo, presented to Citi, if PNC had aspirations to be a larger national brand, I'm sure they present that Apple let PNC in the room. I'm sure they presented to Bank of America. Like, they talked to all of the big banks. And when Apple Card first launched, all of the big banks turned them aside because of all of the control that Apple wanted for this card. Goldman wanted to plant a flag for customer lending. Like, they had this whole Marcus section of the bank. Like, Marcus was going to be their customer focused brand. They were going to start getting into customer acquisition and consumer level lending. And Marcus was their big push for it. There's personal loans, there's their Marcus savings accounts and all of that. And it failed to connect. Like, the brand for Marcus just never caught on. So Goldman was stuck with a consumer lending product that wasn't going anywhere. They were left with, like, they handed all of the keys to Apple. Apple wouldn't allow any foreign transaction fees, so there's one less way for Goldman to make some money on swipes. Apple gets its own section, gets its own piece of the pie for all mobile wallet spend, regardless of who the issuer is. Like, a big part of why issuers don't do a mobile wallet category is Apple steps in and takes their own cut of the pie on top of the network, the payment network that you're using, and on top of whatever the bank is expecting to get. So the bank, like, when we use mobile wallet, US Bank is giving us points on mobile wallet spend at a loss to US Bank. Could be why things went south on the US Bank Altitude Reserve. Could be why they put a cap on the US Bank Altitude Power. Could be why they put a cap on the Kroger cards, where, like, they want to sell this as a feature, and that's fine, but they are losing money when you tap to pay. And that's the cost of doing business. But Apple, I'm sure, wasn't passing any extra fees in terms of the tap to pay to Goldman to let Goldman make some sort of money. They don't do late fees on the card. There's no annual fee on the card. there was not a whole lot of marketing for the card after the first year. Between year 1 and year now, there really wasn't a ton of marketing on the Apple Card. It was pitched as a card to get your Apple products at 3% and with a 0% loan. There, in the last year, there's been more movement on additional partners at 3% and like bringing in Booking.com as a 5% cashback partner. That's only happened in the last 12 months. So Apple wasn't actively adding things to the card. Apple wasn't actively adding partners. Apple wasn't doing anything to really make the card better over the last couple of years, probably because Goldman was complaining about how much money they were losing, but also because I think Apple kind of lost sight of being a finance company. Like, they didn't want to be a finance company for whatever reason, wherever it was. And so they weren't investing in it. And now that they have to, the phrasing on this is going to be wrong, but now that they have to show some skin to bring in a new partner, now you're starting to see them add additional 3% options, add that 5% option with Booking.com. I think they added a 5% option with another company as well. But like, they're now starting to make moves, and now they have lost leverage in these negotiations, where maybe the thing that's holding it up is Apple doesn't want to allow cash back in the form of UR points, and Chase is standing firm on that. We don't know, right? We don't know if in the conversations with American Express was like, hey, this is all good, we want this card to earn membership reward points, and we control membership reward points, and Apple was still saying, no, we want everything cashed out at 1 cent per point. And that could have been a spot of controversy for them. We don't know what negotiations they may have come back to Bank of America, or maybe they had conversations with Cardless. Maybe they did X, Y, and Z. We don't know what the full story is. We know that Goldman lost money in the areas where Goldman lost money has already been covered. But what we don't know is, what is Apple willing to concede to get a deal done? Because if they were willing to get a deal done right now, we would have seen those concessions by now. Like, Apple still thinks they have leverage, and right now, I don't think they do. Aside from the brand recognition, and like, all Apple really needs to get out of the next agreement is keeping the 3% on Apple products, keeping the 0% loan, and ideally integrating their card app into whatever issuer they partner with. Because if the Chase app looked like the Apple Card app, everybody would love the Chase app even more.
But Apple doesn't have to agree to move. Like, I think that is their leverage, right? Like, the deal with Goldman is signed, sealed, delivered for several more years. Like, Apple's leverage is simply, I'm not going anywhere. Goldman, sorry, you're stuck with me. That's their leverage. If they don't like the deal on the table, they just wait.
Right. But that's going to drive up the cost to them in the future. Like, it would behoove them to get a deal done now. A bad deal is better than no deal.
I don't think you understand what Apple is.
No, I absolutely understand what Apple is. I don't think Apple understands what like life and finance is.
I don't think. I think you're referring to reality, Matt. They don't live in our reality. They live in Apple's reality, which is why we pay so much to get into their reality.
Right. But there is that distortion, and Apple is going to eventually have to step out of their reality distortion field.
I don't know if that's true. Like, I'm not trying to be sarcastic. I don't know if they're going to.
Then
I
they
think
need
Apple,
to become a bank.
But I don't think they have to. I think they can get enough from Chase where they're going to get more than you think they are.
That's entirely possible given how bad things are for Chase right now. I don't think that Chase, like, I don't think Apple has gained significant enough leverage over Chase where Chase needs to get a deal done now. yes, it would behoove them reputationally to get something on the books where Chase knows that if they get this card as a UR earning card, as an ultimate reward earning card, a lot will be forgiven for what's happened with Chase over the last 6 months. If they don't get it as a UR earning card, I don't think that they're going to get any sort of grace from their customers. Like, you locked up inks, you locked up sapphires, you put a bad Apple credit on the Sapphire card. Who knows what you're going to do with the Freedom cards? You had a really bad refresh with the Sapphire Reserve, and you're bringing in the Apple card, and I can't use the Apple card to supplement my UR earning capability. I don't care. Go away. And there's no welcome offer on this card. No, leave. Go away.
There's a welcome offer on the Apple card.
Free $75. I just got it. That's why I got the Apple card.
Do you really think Chase is going to carry over the $75?
I think they're going to do their own thing.
Yeah. They'll do some form of a welcome offer.
But I don't think Chase has lost significant leverage in negotiations. I think Apple is being Apple. And if Apple wants to continue to be Apple with issuing the Apple card, buy a goddamn bank.
But they're not going to do that. Like, I understand you
then
want
they
them
need to stop. Shit or get on the pot. Like, they're...
But again, that's not Apple's culture. That is not what they've done for the past 20 years.
Right.
You're
Their
assuming they're
culture is
going to
not to
wake
have
up
any
tomorrow
partners.
in reality. They're not. They settle lawsuits by just buying companies.
Then why won't they do this? Buy a bank with a charter.
But they don't want a bank, like, because they don't want to get into finance. They have enough going on with their lawsuits. They don't want to get into finance. They've
Then
said
get out of the credit card business.
they don't want that either.
They're in an existential whatever with this right now. They either become a bank and dictate how they're going to do things, because this is the Apple way. This is the Apple reality distortion field. Apple does what Apple wants, how Apple wants to do it. Cool. You can do that when you have a bank charter. You can do that
Or
when
they
you
can
are
wait.
issuing bank.
Or they can wait.
And further be irrelevant.
I don't think, but you're judging relevance completely different than Apple is.
Right, but there's no more customers to gain. They've got all the
I-
customers they're going to get.
I do not agree with that at all.
They're going to get 18-year-olds. Great. gonna
Yes,
keep acquiring
that's
18-year-olds.
exactly who they're trying to get. Have you listened? Apple wants everyone between the ages of 15 and 21 on their products, and they're doing a bang up job at getting that to happen.
Right. And then when you give a 15 to 21-year-old a credit card for the first time, you end up not being able to get credit cards after 24 because you stop paying them.
That's not Apple's problem.
That's not Apple's problem.
It becomes Apple's problem when they fuck over all their customers who can't
No,
get a
it
credit card anymore.
doesn't. Again, that is not Apple's problem. That is not what they care about.
Either become a bank or get out of the credit card. Like,
They're not going to become a bank.
Yeah, no, they're going to stay in the like Hilton and Marriott aren't going to become banks.
yeah, but Hilton and Marriott are also based in reality.
Their own individual respective reality. Apple has its own reality. They also have that brand, which they know has clout, and they're going to lean into that clout. They're not going to fold or bend the knee to, well, anyone, because
And
they
that's why
haven't. They don't
they-
need to. They don't have to. And the thing
That's
is,
why they haven't had a deal. That's why the deal isn't getting. That's why no deal is getting struck right now.
well, obviously everything's speculation right now, but I don't necessarily think no deal is getting done for that reason. I think they are standing around saying, if you want to work with us, this is what you have to do. And this is the conversation they are having with the actual banks to say, this is, if you want our Apple card, here are the terms. Take it or leave it. Oh, is there room for negotiation? No. But that's how it
Right.
started the first time. Goldman Sachs took the bite of the proverbial apple, and now they're like, we don't want this anymore. And so now Apple's, well, great. And I think RJ and you just made a great point, especially Craig, about the data. Now they know the gaps to fill. They know how to do it better. And they're like, these are the new terms. Who wants to play with us? This is how much it costs to put our logo on your product, to borrow our logo for your product, and we can work something out. I'm sure even the interchange fees are going to be different. I'm sure like they talk to Amex. I know they talk to Amex in all of this. Not that I have proof. I just know that they did. Amex had one of the highest interchange fees out there. And Apple's, well, this is how much we want every time you swipe. Look at the stuff they're going through on the Apple App Store. If you charge anything in if your app is in our App Store and you charge anything, I want 30%. Flat, period. There's no negotiation, full stop. And developers just have to eat it. Just be like, okay, I guess, because I want it on the App Store. I think they're going to take that same approach with the card itself in these conversations that they're having with banks, saying, yo, if you want our logo, you want to work with us, these are the terms, take them or leave them. And I think a lot of, the smaller ones are like, okay, can't afford it, or screw that, leave it. I think Amex probably was like, you're Apple, but we're Amex, leave it. Chase was like, all right, at least we got some room to wiggle here. And I think the reason why it's taking so long is because Apple doesn't wiggle.
I think we're also not giving credit to how hard it actually is to break corporate contracts. Like, even when you're talking about partner acquisitions, think about AA when they bought. Oh Jesus, what was it before? Yeah, and how long it took Barclays and Citi. Now, granted, some of that is just Citi being Citi, but there
A lot
are
of that was Citi being Citi.
fair. But also think about Marriott and their 2-bank system as well. Some of that's from Starwood holdover, and so I think us not having heard anything on the consumer public end isn't necessarily a full indicator of nothing happening. I think that because you also have to think whoever buys this, because Goldman Sachs is under contract, while they are bleeding money, yes, they also still hold the cards to say you have to buy my book of business, or at least give a cash or equitable. It won't be cash because Apple, they'll probably just give them stock or something, but you have to give us some form of like compensation for the book of business there as well.
Whoever's getting the next round of the Apple Card, they're probably buying the back book. It doesn't make sense not to have that amount of customers. So I don't think the back book is going to be that big of an issue. I don't necessarily think that the corporate contract break is going to be all that big of an issue, especially with how public the spat between Goldman and Apple has become, where like they're both ready to walk away. But I do think that Apple's arrogance as a company, and they are a very arrogant company, is what's going to hold them up. And Lonnie brought up the Apple App Store part. If the Epic lawsuit has taught us anything, it's you can eventually break down that, like you can eventually break that 30%, and the banks will exploit whatever Epic got, like whatever win Epic got out of that lawsuit, to make sure that they keep more of their transfer fees going forward.
Epic lawsuit is slightly different. That's Epic being a disruptor by saying it's not fair to take the money from our developers that are on our platform, and you're saying that you get a piece of their pie. Epic did a completely separate thing, so I'm not going to put that as, I hate to keep saying it, but apples to apples.
No, but they also, in part of discovery, they did just like part of the discovery in that process was showing that to keep Netflix on the platform, Apple gave Netflix very favorable terms for subscribers after the first year who subscribed through their Apple devices. Like they showed, like it's the part of discovery that the banks would be going after, not necessarily like what Epic did, but the crumbs along the way they will use for their own advantages. They're banks, they're evil. It's Apple. They're less than amazing.
Everybody wants money, especially a bank.
Yeah, and we're on the verge of economic collapse. So, who cares about the terms?
All right, I'll go ahead and button this one up and move on to the next topic.
No. RJ, your topic this week.
Well, that was interesting, y'all. So my topic is, how much do you plan your shopping for the holidays and for things like birthdays or anniversaries around times when there are typically elevations. So the month of November in general now has become sort of Black Friday or elevated, usually around like 4th of July, Memorial Day, Labor Day. There's usually going to be higher redemptions on things like Rakuten or other sites like that. Sometimes you'll get elevated offers from Amex or Chase for different credit cards. How much do you plan? Like most people are doing it for Christmas, right? Like most people, the month of November is when we all go hard. We get all of our Christmas stuff. But do you say, hey, I know in 4 months, I have a niece, nephew, sibling, whoever, I'm going to get a gift for them now because it's 45x on Rakuten and it's not going to be 45x when I actually need it. So do you do things like that, or do you just wait until you're closer to that date? Matt, I'm going to start with you first.
I pay very little attention, honestly. I look at my gift shopping as, oh, that's going to get done at some point. Oops. And I just go and quickly run through, and is it on Amazon? Great. Oh, it's not on Amazon. Where do I have to go? Or I just ask my partner to handle it. When it comes for me and point stacking, I'm primarily point stacking for things I want to buy myself. When it comes to buying things for other people, it is literally, let me just get it done in some form or fashion. And I don't particularly care. I don't wait for Black Friday or Cyber Monday or 4th of July or Memorial Day or any of that. It is, I need X at what time Y. Let me just fill time Y if it is time sensitive. If it's not time sensitive and I'm buying for myself, yes, I'll go stack. But when I'm worried about gifts for family or gifts for my partner or gifts for my kid, I'm not thinking about the stacking aspect of it, primarily because my partner is just the one who usually handles this anyway.
That is fair. I will say I got about 15,000 points off of flower arrangements for the holiday for like centerpieces and things I'm sending people. So I was pretty happy about that. Craig, how are you with the planning of the things and the stacking in advance, or do you wait? How do you handle this?
Yeah, so any big purchase, I'm always looking to save a buck. I will say if it is time sensitive, so for example, let's say I need new floors, I'm not going to wait for Lowe's to put a subfloor on sale. I'm just going to go ahead and do whatever needs to be done there. But as far as gifts and everything, I already have my love language is gift giving, right? Like my wife is a terrible gift giver. Okay, she's asleep. But yeah, she's absolutely terrible at it. But she loves spending quality time and she will do small acts of kindness. She's wonderful at that. My thing is, I know what you like. I want to get you these small things. So I like buy those things. For day-to-day things in the house, I'm usually the person purchasing those things. We buy in bulk for the most part. Even, for example, we use Clinique face products. I am currently going through a breakout. So Clinique does really good work. I am just stressed at work. But I will usually wait until I see 10x on Rakuten or 10x in the AA portal and stack that. But that's because I know that my supply is going to last another month or two after or before I need to actually purchase it. This is just replenishing a supply. I will say for large electronics, things like that, I'm usually waiting until Black Friday or for big time sales. The only reason I bought my laptop that currently I have outside of the Black Friday cycle is because it is my primary work machine, and I can't have PowerPoint failing on me in the middle of a presentation, right? I'm presenting to people that if I look crazy, that looks bad, not just for me, but for other people in my department. And granted, yes, I 100% do have a work laptop. I know that. I, however, prefer to use my laptop. And it's just not a good look for you to be given a presentation on staff KPIs and then all of a sudden there's no presentation there and the COO was like, hey bud, I gave you exactly 37 minutes and you're wasting 6 of them, right? Not a good look. So I bought that as a knee jerk, but traded in my old machine to get some savings there as well, and also got a gift card, which was nice. But I will say, and not even just for point stacking, but purely just for saving money, I try my best to shop around bigger events, or I have alerts for the places that I shop the most. For example, my grocery store, for Best Buy, for if it's a good deal and it's something that I know I need to replace, perfect. If it's just a good deal and I don't need it, oh well, it is what it is. But I do try my best to either line up with Rakuten or AA because those are the two portals that I use, or just even just around a big sale. Even if it's a store that's not a Rakuten or AA, if it's a good sale and it's something I need, I'm going to try to save that money.
Makes sense. The king of the stack, Lonnie, I am very interested in your answer to this question.
I'm the king of the stack. So I am a little all the above, to be completely honest. And I'm going to explain why. So for me, I don't necessarily fall into consumerism. I buy a lot of stuff, but I don't buy a lot of stuff, if that makes sense. So I'll break it down like this. I actually budget every single month 2 separate accounts. One is literally titled Christmas birthday gifts, where I just take money every single month and I just put it in there. So if I ever, a niece, a nephew, a wife, my kid, my parents, whatever, need to buy a Christmas or a birthday gift throughout the year, comes out of that account. So I'm just saving money for that when it comes to that. And then specifically for Christmas, of course, after a whole year of doing this and whatever I don't spend just rolls over on itself or compounds on itself, then yeah, I can wait until certain things happen. Like we all know there's a Labor Day sale, there's a 4th of July sale, there's Black Friday sales, there's Christmas season. We already know where the sales are coming. It also depends on what you want to buy. When you want to buy a TV, buy it at the Super Bowl. When you want to buy an appliance, buy it during like President's Day. There's those seasonalities. Now, that's the Christmas birthday account of mine. I actually have a separate account where I just literally label buy me stuff, where when I just want to buy something for me, I already put that money aside. So when I see something cool from Star Wars, then I'm like, yeah, I want that. How much does it cost? $100? Whatever. I just take it out to buy me stuff because I've already taken that out. So there is a component of impulse, if you will, of maybe I'm traveling, maybe I'm out of town or something like that. And then I see something I like. I don't need to be like, ooh, I don't know if I can afford this. Ooh, I don't want to hold this on my credit card. I don't want to not pay X or Y. I've already paid myself. Now, I say all that in context because I can literally just wait until a Black Friday, Cyber Monday week. Be like, you know what? Like my monitor's getting old. Some days it's starting to flicker. It might go out eventually. Right now it's working fine, but I can buy a new monitor on Black Friday, Cyber Monday weekend, and then just wait for the wheels to fall off. And then I already have a monitor chilling in the box ready to go, but I bought it cheap knowing I would need it later. The other thing is once again, going back to the impulse side, I'm not going to say I'm frugal, but a lot of people don't do this when they shop. Put stuff in your wish list. Just create an account to whatever retailer, put stuff in your wish list. Yes, you're going to get an email, but sometimes you get an email when they're like, hey, we're just, for people that just got stuff sitting around, here's 10% off, here's 15% off. A lot of clothing retailers, well, you can also do that with is literally add it to your cart and walk away. And I guarantee you within 48, 72 hours, in most cases, here's 10% off, here's 15%. I do it literally all the time. And if they don't send me that, I'm like, I didn't need it anyway. So that's 2. And for a bonus, yes, that also falls into stacking. So when I'm like, yo, I just bought another pair of Adidas. I never bought a pair of Adidas directly from a store or like a pair of Ultra Boosts. I'm just using that one. I know we've talked about it here on the show before, but all of a sudden Rakuten's, I'm giving you 20X at Adidas. I'm like, let me go look at my wish list. So yes, there is a timing component, but it's not always consumerism. Just go buy this, go buy that, go buy this, go buy that. One, I save everything up in advance. So I'm literally not going to say it's burning a hole in my pocket, but it's like, I got a couple $100 just literally chilling, waiting for me to go buy something. I believe it was Craig that brought up buying an iPhone every year, which those things cost, like most cell phones, flagship, are like $1,000. That's $83 a month, people. If you can put $83 aside a month, next year you can buy that new phone. You've already paid for it. You've already put that money aside, so you don't have to worry about those things. That's the mindset that I look at it, and then I just wait for the right deal. Now, there's also a timing component for all y'all Apple lovers out there. Apple does this 2 months before Black Friday for that reason. You could have got a deal on your AirPods. You could have got a deal on your AirTag, like all those extra things on purpose. Because they're like, we're going to drop brand new phone, the new laptops and everything right then. The other aspect is Apple is really good. I'm just using Apple as an example. Most hardware manufacturers all do this. That stuff is, last year's stuff is just as good, especially when it comes to TVs. And that's why everyone's like losing their mind. I can't believe the M4 MacBook Air is like less than $700 on Amazon. Bitch, that shit's about to be discontinued because the M5 MacBook Air is about to come out in the next couple of months. They're getting rid of it. That's why they're giving you a good price. If you can wait, go ahead and wait and you'll get the best deal. I'm not saying buy the old stuff, but just wait. Literally, it's 90 days. Wait. Yeah. So that's how I approach purchasing. It's just, I plan ahead just by saving money ahead. So when it comes to it, I already know it. But Christmas and birthday gifts are always the same. I know when my niece and my nephew's birthdays are, my siblings' birthdays, my son's birthday, my wife's birthday, they never change every single year. They're literally the same day every year. Christmas is the same day every year. Black Friday is the same-ish day, the day after Thanksgiving, that is, every single year. So just plan for it. And by doing that, I actually end up getting some of the most points possible, but also saving the most as well.
No, all very different answers, all very good answers. I tend to, if I know I'm doing something for sure for a gift and I see a super elevated offer, I'll do it, right? Like my niece and nephew, the oldest two that are more fun to buy for at this point, are March and April birthdays. Like right now is a perfect time to buy for two teenagers because I can get the clothing stuff one likes and I can get the other stuff that the other one likes. It'll hold for 4 months. It's not going to degrade. It'll look exactly the same. So it does sometimes make it easier. But I appreciate it.
No, yeah, I think you hit nail on the head, and that's one reason why, like I say, like especially Christmas birthday gifts, I like to save that money in advance, because for y'all that don't have little children, there's this company called Gap, and their stuff goes on ridiculous sale, especially in the kids section, all times throughout the year. My son has had Christmas clothes from the Gap that he's not going to get to the rest of this month, probably in July, just chilling in my closet upstairs where he can't get them because I got them cheap. The only thing is you got to buy them larger. You can buy it too small, but if it's too big, he'll grow into it. He's 40 inches tall right now. He's giant for his age, but he's 40 inches tall. He will grow into it. But unfortunately, you also have to time, if you live in places that have seasons like Craig and RJ and Matt do, you also have to be like, man, I hope he fits this medium in winter, because if he fits it in July, it ain't gonna make it. But other than that, yeah, just time it out, and I can buy things when they're cheap and give them to them later. So that's literally how I approach purchasing almost anything outside of like groceries and gas.
Yeah, gas
I
tends
just
to be
love
one of
that.
those immediate needs.
And the Gap cash that you get back from buying that, put a calendar in I literally hit snooze on my email and let it pop up like a day before, so I remember. Save as much money as possible. For y'all that watch my members only videos, it's about taking less money out of your bank account.
Great. Matt, back to you.
Thanks, RJ. Your topic, Craig.
This actually lends itself nicely. Something that really bothers me is when I see a toddler in a $250 sweater or
The Burberry section.
Burberry. My friends taking family photos and they went to not Polo, but they went to Ralph Lauren and they got their 3-year-old a $200 purple letter label sweater. And it's friend, that kid still eats boogers and palms poop off the floor. What are you doing? But that lends me palms poop off the floor. That lends itself to my current question that I propose to you all today. Luxury versus marketing. Do you actually find yourself genuinely wanting luxury experiences? Or are you more value and deal oriented, looking for a sweet spot, right? And when I'm talking about luxury, it doesn't necessarily have to be travel or credit cards, but it could be a trip. It could be collectibles. I know, Lonnie, you are really big into Legos. It could be food and dining, sporting events. But yeah, and just curious, if you are into luxury experiences of whatever category that you would like to put that into place, would you still do those things if points weren't an option, or if there was no cashback option for you or option for you to save money outside of purely just putting it in your bank account? And so I will start things off. Matt, how are we doing that?
I'm very much not in the I need the luxury experience. I need the top end of things. Honestly, I went to UBS Arena yesterday and I bought the tickets on StubHub. I got my StubHub credit through the Sapphire Reserve. I went through Rove, got the extra points there. I remembered that doesn't matter what I'm going to do, like enjoying this game. Anything else I buy at the stadium is going to cost an obscene amount of money. A souvenir cup for soda was $15 for one.
Damn.
We bought 2 souvenir sodas. Liz had snacks. And then we also bought like a little plush Sparky, the mascot for the team. The plush Sparky was $22. When you go to arenas, when you go to sports games for major league teams, you are paying an obnoxious premium all the time now, because sports, the arena owner, the team that's leasing the arena, like they are maximizing every little cent that they can get out of you along the way. Like they're turning themselves into luxury because the economics there are the economics of captivity. And it's the same sort of economics when you have to pay $4 for a soda on a plane and you don't get a 12-ounce can, right? It's so I don't strive for luxury things, but a lot of things end up in day-to-day life now. We're paying more and more of a luxury price because we're falling victim to the economics of F you pay me. And a lot of times we are, whether we want to or not, we end up paying for things where it's just really that's the price is not dictated. Price is no longer dictated by supply and demand. Price is now dictated by whatever you'll pay. And as long as you'll pay what the demand is from the supplier, they're going to keep charging that price, even if they don't need to. So yeah, looking for value, looking for deals is getting harder and harder because companies now are just in the business of extracting as much as they can from you without providing more, because somebody's willing to pay that amount. And if you're not willing to, somebody else will. And that's just how it feels like it is. If points weren't an option for things, would you still value and participate in? Yeah, I'd still participate in things, but we are looking at day-to-day life is just becoming more and more expensive. So I'm not even talking about groceries, the difference between Erewhon and Aldi. Like Stop and Shop is putting in prices that are getting closer to Erewhon than they are to Aldi. Like Giant Eagle, Meijer, all those companies, if they can get that extra buck out of you, they're going to get that extra buck. Like the luxury brands like dictate how much you will pay for a thing, and the Browns down market have paid attention and are doing the same thing. So It's yeah, I don't know. You can look for value. It's just getting harder and harder.
No, absolutely. And to your point earlier about the cup situation, I am what we would call cheap when unnecessary. So, fun fact, I like going to tennis matches, and every tennis open has a commemorative cup. I refuse to pay for those cups. People will leave them everywhere. Am I the guy picking up 16 cups, taking them to the bathroom, and rinsing them out? Absolutely. I've got a full thing of US Open cups sitting in that cabinet right now. I
Sure,
don't care if y'all judge me.
but what do you do in the instance where like you want a Coke Zero?
Nah, that's well. So for these cups, you have to buy the commemorative drink along with it too. Like my wife doesn't drink, so I don't want to be the person there with a million baller pounding back 16 $22 drinks. But yeah, no, I feel that.
A cocktail at UBS is 24. Like I was just getting Coke Zero.
It's wild. This is when the attune and the savor come into play. But thank you, Matt. No, you had something else. Go for it.
I'm double checking that it codes properly on the attune.
If it does, we have a new favorite card. Well, actually, will it topple the autograph for you?
No, because those points just go into the autograph.
You don't have a favorite card in your ecosystem?
Not with Wells Fargo.
For Amex, my favorite card is a gold card. But neither here nor there. Thank you, Matt. We are going to go to Lonnie. Luxury or marketing? How are you feeling about that, sir?
I definitely fall within a sweet spot. So first, I want to take vacations and trips out of it because you've heard me say I'm bougie. When I travel, I want to go bougie, period. Full stop. I mentioned it. I like Conrad. I like Waldorf Astoria. I actually like Conrad more than Waldorf Astoria. Do I need to stay there? No. Do I want to stay there? Yes. Complete difference, right? So let's take vacations and trips out of it because that's 100% luxury, no marketing whatsoever. I want to get it the best experience I can pay for. Now, you gave a couple of different things. I want to take sporting events out of it because I don't really go to those unless it's like for a business event. I don't collect cards, but I do have collectibles now, so I do work in that particular realm. And not even around collectibles, but also just regular everyday items. I prefer brand name, or at least I'll lean into that depending on the item. But if we're going to talk about my dishes in the kitchen, all I want are dishes that look good. I don't care who made them. I just want silverware and dishes that match the aesthetic and look good. So that's one thing. But like in my car, I like to keep it very protected. Like my car is my baby. I like it. Love it. I take care of it. So WeatherTech all season floor mats are the covers. I've bought the non-branded like Husky ones or the ones you can find somewhere else. Actually, I bought the ones that they sold through United Shopping Portal. And guess what? I turned the heat on, and by the end of winter, this is while I still live in the Midwest, by the end of winter, the heat completely warped them. They're all rolled up and like melt. Never has WeatherTech. So I've never not bought WeatherTech for any car going forward because is it luxury? No, but is it quality? Yes. We're not going to talk about Apple anymore tonight. So I'm going to leave that one right there because that one basically sells itself. But when it comes to collectibles, once again, it just depends on what makes me happy. It's the satisfaction level of it. Clearly, I like Star Wars. As we all know, I have a couple of big Marvel things that I really like. I actually just got the Black Panther helmet. I got to find a new spot for it because it needs to go up top. But anyway, those types of things, yeah. But one thing people always ask me because they know, one, I love Stormtroopers, not necessarily Star Wars, but I do love Stormtroopers and I support the dark side. All my friends, I ask me when they come, they're like, you don't have a lightsaber. I don't know where I'm going to put it. So there's no reason to buy it. I need to be able to do something with it. I'm not just going to buy it for the sake of buying it. Next thing you mentioned, Legos. One, it's therapy. Legos aren't for kids, y'all. That's why those bitches cost $800 to $1,000. What 12-year-old is supposed to be buying these? Anyway, going back to RJ's question, I plan for that stuff in advance anyway. So when Lego drops $1,000 Death Star set, I'm like, cool, I got $1,000 and it looks pretty cool. Sure. That kind of falls on luxury, but it's more of a collectible. That's something that's going to be around with me for a while. Once again, I can just pan my camera and show you that stuff sticks around with me for a while. So luxury versus marketing, really, that's why I start off saying I'm in a sweet spot. It does depend on the item, but will I lean into a brand name first if it equals quality? Yes. And last but not least, because I just realized I skipped over it, food and dining, I'm going to lean into flavor and health. Like, I don't eat fast food, period. You're not going to find me at Taco Bell. I stopped eating McDonald's when I was like 15 years old. I was still in high school. Just like, I'm never eating this again. And I never even stepped foot in a McDonald's since. I just don't do fast food. I want a meal cooked, prepped, and preferably brought to me. Actually, my wife doesn't cook. I'm teaching my son how to cook. Yes, I know he's 3, but he's actually really good at it. He knows his flavors. Do I got to do it, Craig? Just, no, we're not going to do it, Craig. But anyway, he knows the Holy Trinity and the 4
Throw little lores in there.
And the 4 foundational seasonings. He knows all 4 of them. Anyway, but when it comes to food, yes, I want, hey, it's late. Let's go to Raising Cane's. No, thank you. I'd rather just eat sleep, to be completely honest, which I've actually done before. But if we're out and about, going back to the steakhouse from earlier in the episode, yeah, 100%. Let's go out, do that. Let's go to a ramen place. Let's go get sushi. Let's go get something more better than a double cheeseburger that's wrapped in paper and then handed to you also in paper bags. Like, not my style. So when it comes to food, I'm going to veer closer to luxury. Does it have to be luxury? Does it have to be French Laundry? No. But does it have to be better than fast food? Yes. Does it have to be better than Golden Corral? 100% absolutely. Can we cook it at home? Yes, I'm not going to say I'm frugal and cheap, but I actually enjoy cooking. I want to build a house and I want to build my dream kitchen. I want to build my dream kitchen and my dream home office, and everyone else can go kick rocks after that. I don't care about anything else. But yeah, so I'm going to fall into sweet spot.
No, and I can appreciate that, especially on the food end. I will say, purely from a health perspective, we have gone, I'm not going to lie, Lonnie, sometimes the yearning of a Crunchwrap Supreme calls my name. But that is my one and only weakness. I can't give it up right now. Haven't eaten McDonald's in years, haven't eaten like a lot of that fast food, and I feel better for it, but also I did it out of a necessity, not by a choice. But a win is a win, right? And I'll say this. We have never talked about this, and I don't know how, but at some point we're going to have to discuss your views on Star Wars Legends versus new Disney canon, which not really new anymore, but we need to talk through that. But I appreciate you, sir, and I appreciate your answer. RJ, how are we feeling?
I feel like I just do what I want. Like, I'm not immune to marketing. Nobody's immune to marketing, right? But if I go to a sporting event, I'm gonna buy the good seats because I don't go to a lot of sporting events, right? I usually go to Boston at least once a year to see the Red Sox. I don't buy cheap seats because I'm only going once that season, right? So I'll buy the $300 seats that are between home plate and first base where I can see what's going on because I can't see very well. So I want to be able to see what is happening. That is part of the enjoyment, right? I will fly first class. I fly first class, but I don't need an elevated suite. Like, I'm fine with a standard room as long as it's a decent hotel, right? Those are things where luxury, I think, is situational for me in terms of there are some places I care about it, there are some places I don't. I am also in a different situation than the three of you, right? I don't have kids, I don't have a partner. So when I travel, if I'm in
stop
my own
rubbing it
room,
in. Stop rubbing it in.
sorry,
I was so much richer before he was born.
kids are very
Oh,
expensive, but I don't have to worry about those things. So for me, a standard room is a lot easier to deal with than a suite, right? As far as price goes, as far as all of that stuff goes, right? So is that budget? Not really, because I'm still staying at nice hotels typically, but I don't have to go to the luxury end of the suite with the day bar or whatever. So I am very situational. I don't necessarily buy the front row at Fenway Park where they like bring you food, but I'm like 2 rows up from that. That is a third of the price of those seats. Right? So I'm still in really good seats. I'm not in the best seats. So I think that I hasten to call it a sweet spot, but I'm in the some of column A, some of column B spot of sometimes I care, sometimes I don't. Could I fly Comfort Plus? Yeah. Am I going to? No. That I have resigned myself to this is who I am as a person, and I've stopped fighting it. Because the more I fought it, the more I just didn't want to get on a plane. Right? So for me, it is what it is. So yeah, but again, we're not immune to marketing, but yet I like Apple products because I like the OS. Like I work on a Windows laptop every day. I am not unfamiliar with how Windows works. And then I shut my computer at the end of my day and I go to my MacBook and I take a deep breath. Right? Just because that's preference, right? There are Windows laptops that you can buy that are more expensive than Mac laptops. Like they're out there. It's not hard to find them either. So I have strong preferences, and I think that is more where I go. I go where my preferences are. If that happens to be luxury, it happens to be luxury. If it happens to not be, it happens to not be.
No, 100% understand that. Also, to your point about Windows, I've got a 5090 sitting in my basement right now in a computer, and that is my emergency savings. If all things go wrong, I can sell that bad boy for $3,000 right now. Nothing else in that computer except the RAM and that, but understandable. I will say I am very selective about certain things. Some things I just don't care about. If you've noticed, this nice microphone stand is actually just a beard trimmer that I found in my Christmas decorations box. I had no idea, but there we go. But to Lonnie's point, some things have to be name brand. My wife bought off-brand oatmeal one time, and I swear to God, that was almost the end of our marriage. Don't you ever bring anything that's not goddamn Quaker Oats in this house again.
Ketchup. Ketchup is my line.
Yeah, I respect it. Certain things, don't do it. I like, fun fact about me, my childhood whimsy, I like dinosaur hatching eggs. I also just like regular Quaker Oats, cream oatmeal, cream strawberry, blueberry, all that goodness, right? She bought the off-brand dinosaur hatching eggs, and those eggs didn't hatch when I boiled my water on it, and I swear it was almost a fight. And first of all, why aren't these eggs not hatching? And Lonnie's looking, what the hell are you talking about, dinosaur hatching eggs? This is weird. What are we doing here? It's neither here nor there. Certain things I am here for equality. Certain things I just don't care because I just wasn't raised by it, right? And I want to say too, a lot of this is acquired taste. My mom and my dad could not care less about luxury. I rode around in that same 96 Grand Marquis to every event that needed to happen for 20 plus 30 years, just going places, right? And so I think it just really depends on what we value. And to your point, RJ, everybody is susceptible to marketing in some point or some cases. It is. It's the nature of things because we have our values. We value what we value. And it just so happens that sometimes I value a very thick plush blanket that was more expensive than it needed to be on the TikTok shop. In other cases, it is, as Lonnie mentioned, a really nice steak dinner. So I think it depends, but I think this idea of marketing versus luxury, and when we're talking about true luxury, sometimes luxury is in the eye of the perspective, right? Because what is luxury to me might not be luxury to you, and vice versa. But one thing I did want to share with both of you, and it's a screenshot. My sister has fallen in love with first class. So there's a 20-year age gap between me and her. And so she had never flown first class before last year when me and her went out to San Francisco. And she is now in love with United and first class. And so she will only fly
takes a
first
couple
class
times.
United.
Usually only takes
It took
Usually-
one time. She's a travel nurse in Oregon now. And whenever she's going out of ORD, it's just so amazing. They always have new planes. I was like, yeah, it's United's headquarters. You're always going to get a flight there favorably. She goes, oh, it's just amazing. They gave me a hot towel and nuts. And I was like, yeah, it's okay, big sister. I love you dearly. She's looking now at United credit cards. My sister hasn't opened a credit card in like 13 years, but she's like, I could get 2 passes to this club. Have you ever been to a United club? And I was like,
Send her my
let's
referral.
talk. I got you. I do not have a United card, but I got you. Send it over my way. We will make sure it happens. But she wants that United pass now. And I was like, big sister, you fly once every 3 or 4 months. You don't need the black card, trust me. But regardless.
But you said one other thing, and I'd be remiss if I didn't add this to your topic as well. But when it comes to the luxury aspect, once again, I'm just ratting on myself here, but like I can talk about like a Lululemon, which I've primarily only bought off the sale rack. I have Burberry in my closet that I bought from the outlet. You can still have the luxury at a much, much cheaper price. And in most cases, like a Burberry, that plaid pattern is always the same. Who cares? No one knows if I bought it on Fifth Avenue or Fifth Alley. Like the premium outlets is the exact same stuff. It's just a little bit older and a heck of a lot cheaper. Lululemon, I've mentioned, I have not ever not said I only buy off. They cost a lot. Buy off the sale rack. They turn stuff so quickly, y'all, where it's new. And once again, within 90 days, it's on the sale rack. It's on the we made too much section. Right there. Now you got the platinum card. That's $75 a quarter. Now you get even cheaper. $75 works on the sale rack. So once again, I'm not going to say I'm fully into the luxury. I'm into the quality, but it's not into the full retail price tags.
No, 100% agree. And I appreciate all of you. And I'm going to pass it back to our host, Matt. Take it away.
Absolutely. Thanks, Craig. Let's see. We've gone through everyone. Yep. But my topic. So my topic this week, with the year rapidly coming to a close, what are y'all looking at in the credit card game? So what I mean by that is we're commenters on things. What are you looking forward to? Observations that you'll be keeping track of. Craig, what are you looking to keep on top of mind for 2026?
And this is going to sound like such a Debbie Downer, but I love these moments. I can't wait until the first big nerf of the year. And then for only 7 to 8 months later for people to say, well, I guess it wasn't that bad.
So built 2.0.
You know what? If it's built, absolutely. I would hope that it's something or an ecosystem that I actually use, but probably. And my prime example of this, remember, I think it was a year ago. A year ago now, everybody thought that the American Express Gold Card going to 325 was going to be the worst thing to ever happen in the entire universe. Well, I like Five Guys. I don't really go that often, but also I'll pick up something from the grocery store. I still spend an absurd amount of money for groceries. I still like that 4X. I don't particularly drink Dunkin' coffee, but I like to be able to be that person that when I go into the office, I can bring a snack for my team. That's free, right? And so we have a propensity as a credit card, points and miles, YouTube community, and on Reddit to instantaneously go full little chicken or Chicken Little and say that the sky is falling when, you know, it's a change. Like, it happens. You make lemonade when you have lemons, right? And if the lemons change the drink that you're making, I'm really interested because something that I know will send the credit card community spiraling, even though 90% of these people do not have this card. If the Ritz Carlton ever gets changed, or if it goes to $6.95 or $6.50, I will break out the world's greatest and tiniest violin purely just to see what it is, right? Like, I come on, people. Even with Venture X change, yes, these changes happen. But if I'm being realistic with you, I'm also the person that has said, I wish the platinum card would get more expensive so there would be less people in these lounges. Right? Like, these changes are not affected. And if they affected me more greatly, absolutely. Right? Like, I would be upset about it. But my problem is, man, do I want to have a Venture X? Do I want to have a Sapphire Reserve or a Platinum? I'm probably going to keep two of them. So I think that when we talk about nerfs and when we talk about changes, I would love to see us be more analytical and a little bit more level-headed in how we approach these conversations, and not just everything is ruined. This is trash. Look at this AI video thumbnail that I just put together of me frowning and saying, oh man, the Venture X is trash now. I'm not calling anyone out. I want to be very clear. I'm not calling you out. There are a lot of AI channels right now on the YouTube space within our Points and Miles community. And a lot of it is like just fake people. And I'm not gonna lie, they almost got me. I clicked in and I heard John's voice and I was like, oh, hey, John R. And I was like, wait a minute, that's not John R. What the heck is going on here? But that's a whole different conversation. But yeah, no, I'm just really looking forward to the first nerf of the year and just seeing like what that is going to bring for the credit card Points and Miles community.
It's fair. Part of why things went so dark on the gold card is people were hitting that 25K in grocery spend, that cap, a lot quicker than they thought they would.
So like me and 4 other people. Actually, you know what? No, I know why they're hitting it. They're buying gift cards.
No, that's between them and the Rat Squad.
Fair enough. The Rat Squad could look at me and they'll go, this man is clearly committing fraud. Show me your receipts. Oh man, why are you buying so much oatmeal? Quakers? I was like, oh damn, I spent like $4,000 in Quakers. I'm sorry.
Just buy that in stock, man. They'll pay the dividend in oatmeal packs.
I eat a lot of oatmeal, and I've gotten out of eating Quakers because it's a lot of sugar. And so I've gotten over to steel cut oats, and we also do overnight oats. And man, there's so much fiber. So much fiber. I'm so regular. And RJ, I will keep the yogurt away from you. It's okay.
Lonnie, what are you going to be looking at in 2026?
I just want a bonus category or an enhanced bonus category that works with my wallet. I am tired of the same flat things. Oh, we refreshed this card and it's like you just recycled bonus categories. You just shifted some from this card over here to over here. This card doesn't get 3x on dining, so we just moved it over here to this card type of scenario. Like, give me 6x on dining. Just make it flat. I'm not talking about built. I'm just saying that would be cool. Craig had mentioned the groceries, especially like the gold card, 4x. Make it 5x. Just happy 2020, happy new year. Groceries is now 5x. Something, anything of that is what I'm looking forward to, because with the way things are looking, and I've mentioned this, I don't need a new card, not interested in a new card. Why? Because every card now going forward is just going to overlap, create at least 1 or 2 overlaps with another card that I got. And I'm like, So yeah, give me something new, give me something different, or enhance some of the stuff that we got. Platinum, add anything, add gas, add anything, just anything, just not dining, but add anything else.
That is not how the platinum operates.
Online retailers, or add anything. That's all I'm looking forward to. I'm just looking for anything new that we could potentially like change up some of these bonus categories.
5x on banana purchases over $13. Amex Platinum. I'll take
5x on Apple.
They'd move the.
I I wouldn't take it because then I have to buy more Apple.
They'd move the 4 to 5x on the grocery spend, but then also move the spend cap from 25 to 20. So it looks like more, but you're getting the same number of points.
Honestly, bro, just make it a $50,000 pool between just food. That would fix every single problem that I have with food right now. Come on, Amex, work with me.
I don't think they're going to work with you.
Amex ain't gonna work with anybody.
I know, and I just bought some of that stock, and I own this company now with my 0.000000001 percentage.
Yeah, I don't think they're letting you in the boardroom to make decisions just yet.
Again, they still have the very strong attitude of if you pay me.
I'm gonna just walk in the boardroom and throw down my gold card. Now, which one of you are paying me now? Where's my dividend stocks?
Yeah, then they all throw down that one card that's higher than the black card in front of you because they're in the board.
I was like, what is that? Is that a black card? They're like, this is actually Obsidian. It's really private. You don't know nothing about that. Go on, get out of here. Poverty. You're broken with poverty.
You still get Marriott Gold though.
It only comes with a gold. I love it.
Marriott hands it out like candy. RJ, what are you looking forward to? Or what are you going to be paying attention to?
Refreshes. I love me a refresh because it drives people crazy. But I love them. I find them fascinating. I find people's reaction to them fascinating because people are very attached to what these cards do. And there are cards I am very attached to what these cards do for my wallet. And just the absolute bananas reaction that people have, it's just personally very amusing. So I love a good refresh. The green card should be refreshed this year. There's other cards that might get a refresh, the CSP. So I'm very interested in what refreshes in 2026 looks like.
I hope the green refresh is a good one.
Don't count.
If it happens.
I don't understand why you think it's not going to be a good refresh. We don't know anything about what they're doing, Matt.
It's just going to be, here's another $100 on Resi broken up into a quarter.
Quarter actually wouldn't bother me. Like I'd be
$100 per quarter.
Now that I can actually
I'm sorry, $100 broken up into quarters.
Go ahead and bring it over now that I can use it.
Yeah, I'm fine with it. Like you're acting like it's a bad thing.
It's just going to be overblown for what it'll be.
I guess for me, that's a free meal because,
and I won't abide this.
It's not so much anti-Amex; it's anti the people who keep spewing on about how amazing it is.
For some people,
I just think you're just not the target demographic. Because just being realistic, when I go to Philly or even in Indy, there's places I hit regularly that are like, that's just a free meal. Now, granted, I wouldn't get a new card for it, but if it's a card I already have, I'm here for it.
It's just going to be $100 in Resi. You're going to keep your clear credit. And
again, that is good. I would be okay with that. As somebody who holds that card, I would be fine with that.
$25 a quarter. Cool.
Again, I would be fine with that.
You know what I really want to see? Them bring back the everyday cards. That would actually be nice.
That would be very interesting.
To at this point.
Or give the green the kicker that if you use it X number of times, it gets a boost.
Amex has made way too much money for them to worry about such things.
I still think there could be interesting things coming. The Platinum refresh was well done. Like Amex knows how to do this.
It's going to be way overrated for what it's going to be.
I mean,
you just don't like the cards.
Also say that the CSR refresh was way overrated?
No, the CSR refresh was a disaster.
Ah, okay. Just making sure.
No, absolutely disaster. But like the videos you're going to see when the green card gets refreshed by people who stopped holding the green card is going to be sickening.
But the green card is already a good card. If they make more people get it, that is a win.
People who don't hold it currently, who are going to be flouting ad nauseum about how amazing this refresh is on paper, when they stopped holding the card because they upgraded it to their 5th platinum, it's going to be obnoxious and sickening.
I think this is a bigger critique of
Don't have a problem
the
with that.
content and not necessarily the card itself, though.
Yeah, card's fine, but I have a $0 annual fee version of the card that gives me different points that I care about more.
Right,
that you
for
care about
you.
more.
That is the point.
Anyway, it is a marketing ecosystem.
It is an ecosystem that has very good marketing, but it is still a functional ecosystem.
Sure. Anyway, yeah, I'll be looking out for refreshes. I'm not jazzed about some. There's 1 or 2 product launches I'll be paying attention to, and that's about it. The Rove one, not Rove, sorry, the Built one I'll be paying attention to. And I've heard Q1 might be interesting for another bank, but that's all I can say for now.
Everybody's going to be paying attention to Rove whether they want to or not.
Good.
Or not Rove, Built. I'm sorry, I made the same mistake you did.
Pay attention to Rove. Y'all
I don't
can
know.
pass on Built at this point.
I just don't think Built is, and I could be wrong. Again, I've never had the Built card. I don't know. I think I've accumulated a total, including this Rakuten payout, of like 25,000 Built points. I just don't think Built is positioned to do something truly sensational with this new refresh. I've also just been looking at card lists, not necessarily impressed with their prior performance. And as some people will tell you, past performance is not an indicator of future gains. But it is not invoking a lot of confidence that I would lend itself to me going out and getting a new Built card.
January and February are going to be insufferable on YouTube, on Credit Card YouTube. That's all. And if, all right, any final thoughts? No. With that, we like to highlight our Diamond members, which conveniently is the one thing I didn't put into my little scripty here. So one moment as we vamp. But our Diamond members, as always, are Rupert Pond, Brendan Hirsch, Ragrix Hunter, Mitch 528, AP, Keith, and Double Animal Fries. You can join the membership at stackyourpoints.com. We highlight new members every week and our Diamond members every week. So if you'd like to have your name mentioned at the end of the show, stackyourpoints.com. You can join the membership there. Thanks so much for watching. We'll talk to you guys later. Bye for now.